Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. As usual, as part of the series, we're going to be going over low budget gear. Honestly though, to be perfectly honest, Iron Man, if you've completed this quest or doing this quest for the first time, you're probably actually going to have better gear than what I'm using right now. One thing I do like about the Desert Treasure 2 bosses, all four of them really, is the fact that they are mostly skill dependent and not necessarily dependent on having good gear, which I like, to be honest. It rewards good gameplay and being a good player and not necessarily just getting lucky at playing the game. So I like that aspect. With that being said, for the Whisper, as I say in a lot of my guide videos, your levels will matter more than your gear, especially against the Whisper in my opinion, because the Whisper is magic dependent. So with that being said, we'll go into my gear. So this is the gear I'm rocking. Like usual, I'm rocking full Void. Full Elite Void, I should say. I have a Amalgori, I have my God Cape, your best blessing. I have a Sears Ring imbued, and I have Infinity Boost, which you can get from the Mage Training Arena. I have a Trine of the Seas. I do highly recommend bringing some sort of powered staff, whether it be a Trine of the Seas, Trine of the Swamp, Sang Staff, even a Shadow, whatever it may be, just a powered staff, highly recommended. And then just whatever your best offhand mage slot is. In this case for me, I chose the Tome of Water just because you can easily get that from doing Temporos. I do highly recommend being on the ancient spell books. That way you can cast freeze spells. There is a specific mechanic where you are going to need to freeze a boss a few times in order to prevent getting hit. So with that being said, having a weapon that can auto cast ancients for you could be pretty beneficial. You don't have to. You can always just manually cast it from your spellbook too. But if that ends up being too much for you, just want to make it a little easier on yourself, just bring a weapon like the Ancient Scepter that can automatically cast it for you. The only absolutely mandatory item that you have to have for this fight is the Blackstone Fragment. If you've done the boss already, you should know this already. If this is your first time and you're doing the quest, you do need the Blackstone Fragment to actually fight the boss. It's probably the first boss in the game where you actually have to interact with a certain item in your inventory while fighting the boss in order to fight the boss. It's different. It's a little weird, but it makes sense if you're reading the actual lore of the of the quest. Okay, you do need prayer pots, some sort of prayer restoration. The boss does drain your prayer quite a bit, so I highly recommend that. And the rest is just supplies, food, really. I got a teleport tablet to my house just in case I need to tally out. I do highly recommend a stamina potion. There is quite a bit of running involved in his boss, so having at least 1 or 2 stamina pots does help a lot. And then if you're able to bring your best magic boosting potion, whether it be a regular magic potion, ancient brew, forgotten brew, even an imbued or saturated heart, because this is the low budget setup, we're bringing just a forgotten brew. Again, magic levels matter way more than your gear, especially for this boss. So we're going to go ahead and enter the boss domain. Now, I will state that this is one of those bosses that it's actually pretty easy once you understand what's happening, but for your first few attempts, there is a lot going on, in which case you might be getting kind of fucked up a little bit. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to do a full run normally real quick, just so that way you guys can kind of see how I'm tackling things in general. And you can see all the special text and whatnot. And then after that, I'll go ahead and showcase an example of me using best in slot mage gear. So like a Tunic and Shadow, full ancestral and stuff. Let's get started. Let me eat my angler. Make sure my autocast is on free spells. It is. Drink my forgotten brew. I'm gonna change my quick prayers to protect from range and Mystic Lore. You could have Augur on if you really want to. I like Mystic Lore though, because the boss does drain your prayer a little bit here and there during certain parts of the fight. So I would rather just not have to worry about prayer. When you get good enough, oops, I didn't mean to eat that. When you get good enough the boss, you can actually do this entire boss fight without taking any damage, in which case you could just bring more prayer restoration potions. When you start this fight, it is going to bounce you backwards a little bit. There we go. Let's get started. Okay. She has 2 basic attacks. she either shoots magic or range. There's the range. The last one we avoided was the magic. So the range is like this purplish. That one right there, that's the range. And then the blue is the... oh, okay. As you can tell, at the end of every volley that she does, there's the magic. At the end of every volley, these tentacles come out and hit you. They're pretty easy to dodge. They always form in some sort of like X, like plus shape or X shape. And all you gotta do is just either not stand in the center anymore or not stand in the direction that they're shooting from. It's pretty easy. As you can see here, I'm literally just standing here avoiding it. You don't have to do anything crazy about it. All right, let's go ahead and continue. One thing I will state is that there are 4 phases in the fight. Each phase, her auto attack is going to change. Okay, so right now her auto attack is she's shooting either 3 range or 3 magics in a row. Okay, and then the tentacles come out. Each phase, the auto attack becomes slightly different. Okay, and we'll go more into that later as we get there. Okay, so right now we're in phase 1. It's pretty easy, so we're gonna go ahead and continue actually fighting it. So you just take 3 hits, play correctly, move out of the way. It's pretty simple. Play magic, walk out of the way. Okay, so now she's transitioning. She's using a special attack. Every time she uses a special attack, you got to click on your Blackstone fragment. This is the walking special attack. You have to walk on top of the light green orbs. There we go. Every time you finish a special attack from her, equip your auto cast and freeze her. Okay? If you don't, she's going to walk up to you and smack you with melee damage really hard. We are now in phase 2. In phase 2, she will always do 2 of one type of... she'll either do 2 range and then a magic, or 2 magic and a range. And you just got to pray accordingly. This part of the fight's pretty simple still. You see, I'm not really doing too much. I'm just watching her. I'm basically just standing still. Praying correctly. Boom, boom. Switch, move. Wait for it. Boom, boom. Switch, move. This is phase 2. That's the rhythm. Boom, boom. Switch, move. Attack. All right, here's the next special attack. Okay, use your Blackstone for the special attack. Okay, this is the pillar special attack. You have to hide. There's 3 different types of pillars of varying health. Hide behind the weakest one. Go to the next weakest one. And then go to the next weakest one. As long as you keep going to the weakest ones, you'll be fine. Okay, she's going to freeze you again if you're standing too close to her. You ready to freeze her? She's frozen. Keep attacking. Now we're in phase 3. Her basic attacks are going to switch again soon. Once I get her to a certain health pool, she'll start going... on. Okay, we're not quite in phase 3. We're almost there, though. I do highly recommend having sound cues on for this one, for this boss fight, because hearing the sound cues for the prayers helps out quite a lot. There's a lot, honestly, I could pray correctly and not have to even look at the screen the entire time. Once I know what phase it is. It's really solid muscle memory. Boom, boom, switch, move, hit. Okay, now we're going into the next special attack. Hit the Blackstone. Hit the person with Vita. That says Vita. They're yellow. The yellow ghosts. That's the easiest way to do it. You can hit more ghosts if you want, and they'll give you other effects, but it's just easier just to hit Vita. There's the bind. After every special attack she does that, go for the freeze. Boom. Go back, do damage. Okay, now she's going to switch it up. It's basically the same thing as before, except now it's she's alternating. She'll always start on one and alternate to the other, back and forth. Boom, range, mage, switch. Let's see which one she starts out with. Mage, range, mage, switch. Hit again. Range, mage, range, switch, move, hit. Range, mage, range, move, hit. I moved a little slow there. Range, mage, range, move, hit. Range, mage, range, move, hit. See, there's a rhythm to it. Mage, range, mage, move, hit. Mage, range, blah. I said that wrong, but I did it right, and I fucked that up. It's worth noting that this boss does have a sanity mechanic. Every time you get hit by the tentacles or you get hit during the special attacks, your sanity will drain. When your sanity hits 0, you're basically dead. So just don't let your sanity hit 0. When her HP hits 0, she will hit her enrage phase. For her enrage phase, I highly recommend you have your prayer all the way up. Okay, here's the enrage phase. Have pray range on first. She always start rage. Okay. She always does 2 basic attacks and switches styles. We're gonna do quite a bit of running. This is honestly gonna be the phase that's gonna get people the most trouble. You're gonna have to take quite a bit of getting used to. Notice how in every attack, she's doing a tentacle. This is where the stamina potions come in to help. Okay, so you saw right there? My sanity just reached 0. That was where like the screech came from. When your sanity hits 0, you start taking lots of damage rapidly, and you're basically gonna die. Okay, you take 10 damage, one tick, 20 damage, the second tick, 30 damage, the third tick, 40 damage, the fourth tick. It just keeps going really quickly, and then you just die. That's why I have teleports there. If I wasn't just running around in circles, not attacking while trying to explain it to you guys, I could have killed her. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the high budget setup. It's pretty much full ancestral, occult necklace, god cape, eternal boots, tormented bracelet, Seer's ring. You could do a ring of suffering too if you want. It really doesn't matter too much. I like the Seer's ring because I don't really get hit that often for the suffering to really matter. And then a tunic and shadow. For my inventory, I have an accursed scepter, both for the special attack and to autocast free spells for me. I have a Venator bow, I don't know how you pronounce it, for the ghost special attack that it has, because of the fact that when you hit all of the ghosts of a certain color, you gain some sort of benefit from it. So the Venator bow is actually really good for that phase, just because you can actually wipe out like at least 3 of the 4 quadrants most of the time. So you could probably get like 2, maybe sometimes 3 effects from using it, so it's pretty good. I like it a lot. We have a saturated heart, so that way we can have that divine effect, and the rest is kind of pretty much the same as before. So we'll go ahead and do a run with the shadow setup just so you can see how much it is. I will say doing the final phase, the enrage phase, is really hard with the budget setup. Like really hard with the budget setup, unless you're just really good at that phase for some reason. I'm not the greatest at that phase, so it is a bit of a DPS check. Just throwing that out there. So this setup is obviously way easier to get through that phase than it is on the budget setup. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure I'm boosted. I'm gonna put on my scepter, use my spec, put my prayers on, and let's get started. All right, spect. Put on my scepter, go for the freeze, Go for damage again. Boom, boom, switch. Oh, I forgot. I just didn't switch at all that time. I got lucky. Boom, boom, switch. It's gonna be range magic. Move, hit. Okay, next phase. It's the pillar phase. I'll go over here. Go to the pillar. Wait for the slam. Go to the next weakest pillar. Okay, put my sepper. Get ready for the freeze after the transition. There's a bind. Going for the freeze. It's frozen. Doing DPS. Boom, boom, switch. Boom, boom, switch. Move, hit. 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 There's the ghost. Put on my Venator bow. Transition. Hit the Vita. See how useful this is during the phase? It's actually really nice. Now we just got multiple effects because of that. It's really good. Go for the freeze. Do some damage. Boom, boom, boom. Move. Yep, okay, I did that really slow. That. Move, hit. Heal up a little bit. Heal up a little bit. Switch, move, hit. Switch, move, hit. Pray range for the final phase. Oh. There we go. Just like I said before, personal experience, the last phase, the rage phase, is probably the hardest part of the entire fight, just because you don't really have time to switch prayers, move, attack, and heal, and prayer restore. You don't really have a lot of time to do everything at once, so you're kind of just purely focusing on moving, switching prayers, and DPSing. You don't really have time to heal, which kind of sucks. So you're kind of doing a DPS check against your prayer, pretty much for the most part, as long as you're not taking hits. Without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. If you have any other tips or advice for maybe anybody else watching this video or for me myself, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. I know I would appreciate it, and so would anybody else watching this. So I will see you guys later. I'm going to make the other two guides fairly soon, and hope you guys have a good one. Peace.